Hello Warriors, Natasha here on video number 26. I actually feel like I'm getting behind on my videos because for some reason I've been having problems with Facebook not accepting my videos. I don't know what is going on. I've already experienced it 2 days in a row. Hopefully this will not be a third day. Apparently somebody reported it that when I post my videos it's been abusive. I don't get that. It's kind of just really blowing my mind that this is happening. But anyway, nonetheless, I'm still persistent to do it. I know what this video challenge has done for me and what it is doing for me. So I will continue to persist in getting them done. Even if I have to share it on my own page, I will do that. But nonetheless, I wanted to discuss today about having to go backwards in order to move forward. And I wanted to talk about that, kind of veering from the things that I wanted to talk about in terms of the book that I was sharing on last week, and I'll get back to that. But again, I try to move spiritually in terms of the things that I want to share, whatever, Spirit leads me to talk about. And this is one of the things that I often find that sometimes a lot of people may not want to talk about, that sometimes you have to go backwards in order to move forward. And I often find that the best example is your own personal example. Even though you may be putting yourself out there, you still have to tell your story because you never know who it may actually help. Well, for me, I think I'm going to really start getting into telling more of my story, not too personable, but enough to where I know it can add some value to someone else. Well, last year I got into online marketing and what have you, and really was excited that I found a niche that I could get into that will help me transition from a slave mentality job to an entrepreneur mentality, which I've always had, but I felt like I had given up on that. And so when I got into the online marketing and found out that you could earn a living online and that there were millions of people who were doing it, being successful and what have you, that it blew my mind. And it was like, here's an opportunity for me to do something different. And even though it's been more than a year later, I still find myself in awe of the success that people are having. Well, for me, the success, of course, did not come right away because there's a learning curve. There are things you have to learn. And I'm fine with that because I'm still learning. But on the financial side, I couldn't maintain a lot of my accounts or what have you. Of course, I made some money here and there, but not enough to sustain me. And unfortunately, my king was on a job to where we had the household bills and he was taking care of that. So even it would be very much, we would have to really stretch things. Plus, not only that, in December of 2011, there was a situation in my family where I took on the raising of 2 children for approximately 17 and a half months with virtually no help. I wasn't working at the time. The only income was the income that Arthur was bringing in, and so it really taxed us financially. And unfortunately, my businesses got behind. And when I made the decision in June to move, well, actually we moved in June. I made the decision probably back in March of this year to move. I knew we were doing it on a wing and a prayer. And that was fine for me because I was just so determined that I was going to have to get out of that environment because, as I told Arthur, I could not heal in a place of hurt. And maybe that'll be for another video. But it was a lot that had happened that I knew that if I did not leave, it was going to really devastate me mentally. And I was determined that my life is too important to allow that to happen. So we moved and was blessed that where he got a job within 10 days of us being here. And I was still looking because I realized, as much as I hate being controlled by someone else, especially as a Taurus, and born under the money sign. That's just something we just do not like. However, I'm finding that I am going to have to go back on a job. But this time for me is with a purpose. It's knowing that in the back of my mind, I have online things set up. I just need the resources to maintain my accounts and what have you. And once I start earning the income, I'm out of there. And I am giving myself 6 months top. 6 months. So I felt like, did I really want to share this story or what have you? No, and kind of felt like, I don't know, embarrassed or what have you. Then I realized there's somebody else out there who may be feeling the same way. There may be somebody out there who's trying to be like someone else in this online industry who's making money, who's being successful, but you don't know the story. And I love how someone once said, you're looking at the story, but you don't know the glory. I'm sorry, you look at the glory, but you don't know the story. And that's what I love when I hear people's story of how they struggled, how they didn't have any money, how they had to borrow the money, how they had to max out credit cards, how they had to take loans out, how they had to, sell vehicles or what have you. I had to sell my car just to be able to move or what have you. So, whatever it is, I like hearing somebody's story. And then when I see the glory, then I can say, okay, if they did it, then I can do it too. Well, somebody might have to go back on the job and say, you know what, I've tried it, I've put money in and what have you, and nothing happened. But look at what's going to happen to me if I don't do what I need to do. So for me, I'm going to have to go back to move forward, but this time is with a purpose, and this time it is with a plan, because with the online things that I have, it's already set up. I'm still working on it and what have you, but I have to be wise about it too, knowing that it's not going to be forever. I have a plan, 6 months. I have a goal, 6 months, and it can be less than that. It can actually, and I believe it can be less than that, because I've already built up a foundation. So for those who are out there who may be watching this, understand that sometimes that may happen, and you don't have to feel bad about it. And don't compare yourself to someone else who may have the success, because you never know what their true story is. They may be basking in all the glory or what have you, but if they really tell the story, then you will know, okay, well, they're not much different than me. So, don't feel bad about this, because at one time I was going to feel bad about it. I said, no, this is what I'm having to do. My king is working, and we can make it on what he's doing, but that's not my goal. My bigger goal and purpose is to help financially, work on my businesses part-time, and I mean work my ass off for it, and be able to say, no, now we're both getting off the job. Now you can live your purpose. We have the resources to be able to do that, to get my daughter off her job so she can live her purpose and what have you. So if you have to go back, make sure you go back to move forward, but do it with a purpose. I thank you all for watching this video. Connect with me on the links below. Until next time.